Yesterday, just by way of a quick recap, David Sterling introduced us to doTERRA's mission, simplified and illuminated. Pursue what's pure. Did you pick up on that? And he explained how we will expand and magnify this mission to do what? To empower others. That's what we do at doTERRA. It's all about empowering others. So, David explained we pursue purity in our products, we pursue purity in our business practices, and we pursue purity in our intentions, which means that we're pursuing purity because, as Dave said, of our love of humanity, right? So thanks, David, for your vision and for your leadership. This will be our messaging as we go forward now, as we continue to differentiate doTERRA from everyone else, and as we share doTERRA with the rest of the world. David mentioned one other thing. He was giving some praise and somewhat of a tribute to Dr. Hill, wasn't he? Oh, he's this great teacher, blah, 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 blah. We love Dr. Hill. His training is so important, so key. And then Dr. Hill comes up and he says, our general counsel, Mark Wolfert, asked me not to say these things, but I'm going to say them anyway. I want everyone to understand. You know, Dr. Hill just doesn't listen to me. So when we left stage, here's what happened. We had a few words. You can tell he's really afraid of me, isn't he? So I'm sure in the future, Dr. Hill will toe the line. No, hopefully he doesn't. I will echo David's sentiments. We love Dr. Hill. But for Dr. Hill, I'm not sure doTERRA would be what it is today. So we love and thank Dr. Hill. Okay, can we get started? It's about time, Mark. Okay. Well, so at doTERRA, you know that we all share a passion for education and sharing and giving and serving, for health and for empowering. Speaking of empowerment and service, for those of you who are new to doTERRA and don't know very much about the Healing Hands Foundation, it's doTERRA's humanitarian arm, a registered 501c3 under the US tax code. And this is important, all of doTERRA's, or all of Healing Hands' overhead and expenses, administrative costs, those are all generously borne by doTERRA International. So every dime, every dollar, every penny that is donated to the Healing Hands Foundation goes to the causes and projects. Isn't that great? So today, we're going to review and update some of the things that have happened in the last year, but what I am most excited about today will be a little bit later. I'm going to review some of your projects that you've done as wellness advocates. As most of you already know, wellness advocates can ask or petition, apply to Healing Hands for matching funds, to match funds that you and your groups have raised for your own humanitarian projects. And so we'll highlight some of those in a few minutes. Can I just begin by saying thank you for the service that has been provided already here at convention yesterday and today. These over 1,200 of these quilts are being tied into these mama baby kits that will go in with a number of other items like baby clothes, lavender touch, etc. And then these mama baby kits will be distributed in birthing centers in Nepal, Guatemala, Kenya, Haiti. So thank you for your service. Appreciate that. Also, as an FYI, I think this is significant, and we wanted you to know about this. The 68th United Nations Civil Society Conference was held here in Salt Lake City just a few weeks ago. In fact, it's the first time that they held this conference in the United States outside of New York. doTERRA International and the Healing Hands Foundation were both invited to participate on two panel discussions. And these two panel discussions were something I think we know a little bit about. One of them was the prevention, rescue, and healing of victims of human trafficking, right? I think we know a little bit about that. The second panel was on ethical supply chain sourcing, also something that I don't think anyone knows as much as we do about that. So it was an honor for us to be asked not only to participate, but we actually moderated those two panels. So doesn't it feel good to know that doTERRA and doTERRA Healing Hands is being globally recognized and asked to share our best practices? We're really making a difference in the world. Thank you. Okay, so very much has happened since our last convention this year that we won't be able to review everything, but I'm going to try and share a few snapshots of some of the projects that we've been involved with. Having said that, I want to invite you to the Healing Hands websites where you can get all the details, all the updates. That's doTERRAhealinghands.org. And I also invite you to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. By the way, also on our website, that's where you can view our annual reports from each year and our audited financial statements, which for those of you who are interested in that sort of thing, I think that's important to know. Now, one of the ways that we endeavor to make an impact in the world is by supporting development projects in our co-impact sourcing locations, areas where we source essential oils, such as building schools, health clinics, improving infrastructure and water systems. Healing Hands is currently supporting humanitarian projects in these countries, these co-impact sourcing locations of Albania, Bulgaria, Haiti, Kenya, Madagascar. Dave Sterling yesterday talked about the hospital that we're building in Somaliland, and also in Guatemala and Nepal with our very good and cherished sourcing partner, Choice Humanitarian. And I'm pleased to announce that we've added another country to that list, and that's Brazil. Anyone here from Brazil? In the Amazon region of Brazil, doTERRA partners with Copaíba harvesters in communities along the Amazon River and its many tributaries. And the challenging thing here for the harvesters, they're in this vast network of waterways and in thick jungle. And so they have limited access to important resources such as medical services. And so this year, the Healing Hands Foundation has funded a project to provide dental services in 7 remote Amazon communities, making a real difference there. Now, of course, we attribute so much of our success to the many wonderful organizations that we're blessed and privileged to partner with. I'm just going to mention a few of them today. doTERRA continues to cherish its relationship with Days for Girls, because the many opportunities that are given to women and children with education and training, the reusable, washable, feminine hygiene kits that are provided to them. In fact, I want you to think about this. Looking back to the beginning, I think it's phenomenal. In fact, I think it's staggering when you consider that over 1.5 million women and girls have already been supported and empowered by Days for Girls in 141 countries, right? And just this week, we received an anonymous donation from someone in our doTERRA family in the very generous amount of $25,000, $250,000 for Days for Girls. And this donation will provide kits and education for 25,000 girls in Kenya. So thank you for helping to make a difference for every girl, everywhere, period. I want to highlight another one of our cherished partnerships, Mentors International. They hold a special place in our hearts because they were one of the very first, in fact, they were the very first humanitarian partner we had. Mentors provides business training, as well as small loans to hardworking family entrepreneurs who it gives them the opportunity to start and or grow their little own family business. Since Healing Hands' first donation to mentors in 2010, listen to this, almost $7 million has been distributed in loans around the world. That is more than 160,000 individuals, more than 28,000 families who've been impacted, and significantly, they're given the opportunity to become self-reliant, which is the goal. Over 11,000 jobs have been created, more than 17,000 total loans have been dispersed. Through mentors, we, you, us together, have provided loan funds in Ghana, Guatemala, Nepal, Peru, the Philippines, and now I want to tell you about one in the Dominican Republic. This is a new loan fund which offers girls and women who are survivors of sex trafficking the opportunity to learn a skill for their own support, such as bookkeeping, sewing, cooking, baking, beauty services, and a mentors program that Healing Hands has funded and sponsored called Pearls with Purpose trains these survivors how to wire wrap Larimar stones for jewelry. Now, Larimar is an extremely rare and beautiful gemstone that's only found in the Dominican Republic. So just recently, the first graduating class just completed their training course, and they're now making beautiful jewelry to be sold. And these small business loans and training are empowering these survivors of human trafficking to learn a skill, to take control of their lives, to become self-reliant, and maybe most importantly, to give them hope and independence. Thank you. Now, you also know, this has been the subject of our conferences for many years, but sex trafficking is one of, if not the greatest evil in our society today. And with you, the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation is engaged in fighting against this insidious evil. We continue to engage with partners who focus on 3 different but related facets of human trafficking: their education and prevention, their rescue, and the third leg of the stool would be the aftercare. Together with Operation Underground Railroad, or OUR, we continue our fight against human trafficking, and to date have conducted 671 rescue operations, have made almost 1,500 arrests, and have rescued not 1, not 2, even though the 1 is so important, but over 2,700 individuals. This year, you, through the Healing Hands Foundation, have made donations which, combined with some generous matches, have totaled almost $1 million. These funds will be used to support rescue efforts in Haiti, the Ukraine, Colombia, Peru, and Cambodia, as we work with local law enforcement in these countries. Additionally, we want to recognize wellness advocates on Gina Truman's team. They raised almost $50,000. Yeah. Which Healing Hands then donated to OUR for the purpose of building a boys aftercare center or home in Thailand. So thank you, Gina, and your team. Rapha is a Hebrew word which means healing. And healing is the soul and the heartbeat of the Rapha House. The doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation is particularly invested in the aftercare and rehabilitation of rescued children to help them heal physically, mentally, emotionally, in a safe environment, knowing that their abusers are being prosecuted and will no longer be able to hurt them. Rafa House is one of those amazing, shining examples of a safe environment. And their centers often include an art therapy center, which allows survivors to express themselves and heal through art therapy. HGTV was able to design and beautify the center in Thailand that Healing Hands just funded and sponsored. Let's watch this.
Human trafficking is rampant in Southeast Asia, and it devastates their lives, the lives of their families, and the communities that they come from. Rafa House has an organization that goes on the journey with a young woman through her healing process and helps them to become whole again.
Here in Thailand, we are working directly with local law enforcement, and then we are a safe place that is licensed by the government of Thailand to protect these children. We want to continue to provide counseling, all of those things that are going to empower these children to go back to their communities and not only survive the trauma that's happened to them, but thrive.
This is a place where doTERRA is making a huge difference.
They pull the fragrance of a rose in the middle of the night when the hours are darkest. This, what we're doing in here, is so much about pulling these girls out of the darkness into light, showing them beauty from ashes. Yesterday, we revealed the art center to the girls, and it was just beautiful. One of the girls said, "I feel like home. This is home."
We need the wellness advocates to know how important that you are to this work of Rafa House. None of this happens here without you. Girls don't come through the gates without you. We don't get to prosecute criminals without you.
Thank you to doTERRA for sponsoring this. It is 100,000% a blessing. We're so glad you chose us.
So last year, with Rafa House, you may remember that we announced the construction of a large $2.5 million aftercare campus in Haiti for survivors of sex trafficking. They're coming along very well. They're actually moving mountains to make this happen. They're building this campus into the side of a mountain. So we'll provide more updates on this project in the coming months, but we hope, in fact, by next convention, we'll show you much more about how that has turned out and how it's being used. In the last year, Healing Hands has also begun working with some emerging organizations that are also making an impact. And I want to introduce you to two of them today. This past February, 500 of you joined with us when we visited Pasitos de Luz in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. If you went with us, let me hear from you. Pasitos de Luz is a nonprofit organization that provides care for children from low-income families. But not only that, these children suffer from acute physical or psychological disabilities. You participated in various projects to improve the safety and functionality of the facility, and you helped train their staff on the use of essential oil. But by far the most rewarding part of that trip, for me and probably for you, was how you ministered to these children. They stole the hearts of everyone who was there and made a huge impact on our lives and changed us. And in fact, they inspired wellness advocates Dr. Darren and Christy Taylor to arrange for their own follow-up visit later to continue training and therapy, including 5 additional therapists, which have been funded by the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation, so that they're able to provide additional care and therapy for even more children.
Hi, I'm Dr. Darren Taylor.
And I'm Christy Taylor. We're the owners of Global Body Health. We want to share an amazing, life-changing experience that we had this year. In February, we had the opportunity to go to Puerto Vallarta and visit a nonprofit called Pasitos de Luz.
Pasitos de Luz is Little Steps of Light. So we went in there and I walked in and I knew it was a really special space for the disabled children. I met Milton right away, and he introduced me to Cesar, who's a really special little kid, and I fell in love with him immediately, as I did with all the kids in our time there, and really did some therapy. We used some oils, opened up his hips, I think, for the first time in his life, got him sitting upright, and just had tremendous results. And at that point, I knew that we needed to be more of involved in this and get back there as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. And we're so grateful that both Mark Wolfert and Emily Wright shared the same passion and vision to continue the support for Pasitos de Luz. In fact, they asked us to go back and do some training with the therapists, the volunteers, and work on the kids. They were so generous to donate a ton of essential oils that we got to take down to Mexico and train the staff how to use on the kids. It made such an impact on the ability to change the modalities and increase the healing.
One special girl who stole our heart is Fatima, and she had a very complex spinal surgery 10 weeks before we met her. She was in a wheelchair, so she hadn't walked. And I looked at the pre-operative and post-operative x-rays, and there was really no reason that at that point that she should still be in her wheelchair. So we did some really, really powerful work with her from a therapeutic perspective, and used the essential oils and had incredible results. It was very emotional. She got up and walked. We certainly helped her, and it was really, really, really special.
We also recently added Engage Now Africa to the anti-human traffic organizations that we support. Engage Now Africa focuses on rescue and rehabilitation, prosecution, and prevention to eradicate modern slavery. Our funding this year, and we just started with them, but already this year, has helped rescue 14 girls aged 13 to 16 who were trafficked from their homes in northern Uganda into Kenya, and they were going to be transferred to Somalia for forced marriages and continued sexual servitude. So thank you for your support. The traffickers were arrested and a larger network was uncovered. Make no mistake about it. doTERRA is committed to continuing its fight with you against human trafficking. Now, as many of you will recall from last year's convention, we announced that doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation is helping to fund the construction of a shelter facility that provides safe housing, counseling, women and victim advocacy groups and so forth, support groups in Park City, Utah. For survivors of domestic violence and abuse. It's the only one of its kind in size in Summit and Wasatch counties. We're excited that this new home of peace, healing, and encouragement for women and children is opening its doors this week. I was just there a couple weeks ago. I'm here today with Kendra Wyckoff, who's the Executive Director for the Peace House for survivors of family violence and abuse. I thought it would be great now that we're ready to open doors here to tell us a little bit about it and the purpose of this facility and why it's so important, why we need it.
This community campus will offer longer-term transitional housing and childcare, which are typically barriers for survivors of domestic violence. Each one of the 12 units has a 1-bedroom. So you'll see that there are 2 beds in there and 2 dressers. So if we have a family that's larger, then we're able to make an apartment into a 2-bedroom, and even in some of the apartments, we're able to expand to a 3-bedroom.
Walking through this facility, it gives you an idea of all the services that are provided here. It feels very safe and secure here.
We are just so grateful for doTERRA Healing Hands support in making the Community Resource Center come to fruition. Counselors available for both adults and children. We also have a client closet, as at times families need some basic clothing services. So it's a space where families can step into and literally shop for items that they need for free.
The healing that's going to take place here, I feel, as you've named it, I feel peace here. You feel the warmth. And so on behalf of doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation and our wellness advocates, we want to thank you. Okay, thank you. Thus far, we've talked a little bit about the projects that Healing Hands is participating in around the world. And as I mentioned earlier, you can go to the website, doTERRAhealinghands.org, to get all the details and updates. But you have also been very busy this year, and we wanted to share some of that with everyone. Since our last convention, you've invited the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation to participate in 93 different projects with you by allowing us to donate by matching funds, almost $1.1 million in cash and product. These photos give you an idea of the diversity and scope of interest and impact that we're making together. I want to show you only a few of the many incredible things that your fellow wellness advocates have been doing, and we invited some of them to submit to us home-produced amateur videos telling us about their projects. So the first one is the Mission Mabali project that's brought to us by Diamond Joy Tarpley. Thank you, Joy. doTERRA Healing Hands matched her fundraising campaign to help build an orphanage and school in Mabali, Uganda, and a fence around the property. Let's watch this.
Hello, my doTERRA family. This is Joy Tarpley coming to you from Mabali, Uganda, and I'm going to be sending you some short videos of the school and the fence that we've had the privilege of being a part of building. So the first thing I want to show you right behind me is the gate and all the fencing that comes with building the school. And that was the first phase. The first phase of what we did was building that fence, and we were part of that so we could begin. And the farmlands are really beautiful. It's hard to see, but in the background there's a gorgeous mountain that overlooks the school. I always feel like it's just a sign of God's provision. And then right behind me is the actual school. So right now it goes to P4, and they're now building a second level, another section, so it can go to P7, primary 7. And today we're going to get to go into the classrooms and see students learning. I'm so excited. But we were a part of providing the building and the fencing, so many children here in Mabali, Uganda can go to school. So I look forward to showing you some of the children, but this is the beautiful land and the beautiful area that is being built on.
Thank you, Joy. The next one, the Live Love Malawi project, was conducted by wellness advocates Chris Flecken and her diamond sponsors Arla Lines and Lisa Colty. This was a cash matching campaign to build a kitchen for the women in the Makanda village in Malawi so that they could help feed children at a nearby school, to sell their goods in the market, and to raise money for their families and educate girls in the kitchen to create a sustainable business that they could support their families.
I reached out to my upline leaders, Arla Lyons and Lisa Colte, and we formed a team. The three of us and our daughters. Kitchen started breaking ground in June of this year, 2019. Even though I cannot be there, I am still extremely excited to see this happen and how it's going to change the lives of this village and generations after that.
We had the opportunity to distribute Days for Girls kits. There's a video that where Dua holds up a pair of underwear and the entire crowd of girls just goes crazy. They start screaming and clapping, and that was a beautiful moment because you forget the things that you take for granted.
Just want to thank the people that have been part and parcel of this project, especially doTERRA and everybody involved. This goes a long way. You're not only changing one woman, you're changing 22 lives, and those lives are changing their families, and those families will be changing their community, and their community will also mean we are changing Malawi as a nation. Thank you so much, because the kitchen looks so amazing, and we believe that everything that will come out of that kitchen is going to bring an impact on the lives of this community. I want to say thank you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Chris. So we move from Uganda to Beyond the Epicenter project, which was spearheaded by wellness advocate Ali Wishner and her diamond sponsor Reagan Pleckenpole. And this matching campaign helped build 2 earthquake-resistant schools in Nepal, and it wasn't their first 2.
Hey, it's Ali coming to you live from New York. So I'm here to talk to you today about something that's happening thousands of miles away at this very moment in a small town in Nepal. When I first became a wellness advocate, I have 2 main goals. One goal was to help people take charge of their own lives and their health through doTERRA products. But the second lived in Nepal. In 2015, a 7.2 magnitude earthquake devastated the country. My sister was there. She was 20 miles from the epicenter. Thankfully, though, she was okay. But 35,000 classrooms were destroyed during this earthquake. And when my sister came back to New York, my family immediately found ourselves asking, what can we do? What can we do that even in a small way can help make things better for these people who had given so much to my sister when she'd been there? We decided what we would do is that we would rebuild schools. Many of the schools in Nepal were not built to withstand an earthquake. They were built of thin materials that just crumbled when the earthquake struck. Since then, we've rebuilt 9 classrooms, 9 earthquake-proof, safe classrooms that have returned over 1,000 kids to school. A few months ago, my family and our foundation, Beyond the Epicenter, partnered with the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation. Together, we have raised almost $24,000 to rebuild earthquake-proof, safe schools in Nepal. Together, we will build 2 more schools, and this will send over 100 more students back to classrooms 3 years later. And I cannot tell you how excited I am about this.
Thank you, Ali. Woo! Uganda, Malawi, Nepal. Now, the next one is the International Extremity Project, which was led by wellness advocate Devin Fleur-de-Jean and her Blue Diamond sponsor Megan Frashesky. This was a product matching campaign to supply essential oils to comfort patients who were requiring surgical corrections of foot and ankle deformities.
Hi, my name is Devin Fleur-de-Jean, and I am a clinical aromatherapist and massage therapist. I've joined this mission to support the team in their health and well-being and to provide comfort and pain management for the patient. I had this really powerful experience with this woman.
Can I rub your leg?
I was giving her this massage. And there was a point where in her eyes, you could see she's been feeling so much emotional pain for so long about this. She started kind of tearing up and looking at me with so much love. And it just feels so good to be able to support people and having the oils do their magic. It really moved her, and in turn really moved me.
Sometimes it's just about providing a little extra kindness and love for someone who's going through a hard time. The last one that I want to share with you, and there are so many more that we could share, is the Miracle Foundation is a humanitarian project by Presidential Diamonds, Dr. Zia and Kai Nix. This was a cash matching campaign to care for 48 children who were living in an orphanage and then to help transition them to a family placement in India. But then the Nix contributed a double match to this campaign for a total of $60,000. Thank you, Nixes.
Hey, what's going on, doTERRA family? This is Kai Nix.
Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Zia Nix, and we're coming to you from New York City. We're so grateful and excited that we just got to participate in a doTERRA Healing Hands matching grant. And the organization, the cause that we've chosen to support is the Miracle Foundation and its founder, Caroline Boudreau. For the last 20 years, the Miracle Foundation has been working with orphanages around the globe to ensure standards of quality of life and quality of care for the children living in the orphanages. So we're so excited that we get to be a part of this mission and that doTERRA also has chosen to be a part of this.
It's about leaving an impact on this world, leaving this world a better place than when we found it. And Zia and I want to leave our legacy on the world. It's really a blessing and a gift, and we're so grateful that we're able to be a part of this incredible mission.
Yes, and one of my favorite quotes of all time is, "You never know how something you may say, think, or do today can affect the lives of millions tomorrow." How many people will you directly and indirectly, how many families, how many communities will you affect positively because you chose to build your doTERRA business?
So Zia and I feel like superheroes, and you get to be a superhero too when you get to work and do work through the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation. So we want to see the superhero that lies in you. So go ahead, go out there and change the world.
When a big guy like Kai Nix points his finger at you, that's a call to action. So there was a recurring theme today. Did you notice it? It's this: together we can do so much more than we can do alone. There are so many more stories that we could have shared, but look for them to be posted soon on the website. Now, I want to try something here. Please stand up and remain standing if you were one of the people in any of these videos. Stand up. We want to recognize you. Where are you? Okay, stay standing. Don't sit down. But now stand up if you've ever requested and participated in a Wellness Advocate Partner Project matching campaign. Also stand up. Okay, stay standing. Now please stand up if you've ever donated, volunteered, or helped in any way on a Wellness Advocate Partner Project matching campaign. Stand up. Look around. Can you see what is being done as we join together? Thank you. We are lifting our communities and the world one drop of oil and one act of kindness at a time. In addition to matching campaigns, we have other options to help you partner with the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation. One of them is you can create your own fundraiser to recognize a momentous event in your life. And doTERRA International will then match every dollar you raise this year up to $500,000. So let's get your events on a fundraising page. Now, I don't want to get in trouble here, but I want to share an example with you. We have a special birthday that we celebrated earlier this week. I think Emily turned 29. Is that right, Emily? Now, Emily gave us permission to create for her a fundraiser page to help celebrate her birthday by helping others in need. Emily wanted to make sure I said this was not about her. This was about donating to help others. So please consider visiting the doTERRAHealingHands.org website to donate and support Emily in reaching her goal. And go there to create your own fundraiser. Thank you. So I want to shift gears as I close now and get ready to get off the stage. I want to say thank you for participating with us in our kindness campaign, doTERRA's 15 Days of Kindness.